All right, so this talk's going to be about discussion on OnlyFans and trying to understand why it's successful or why people are doing it from both perspectives. From mostly the male perspective, I don't think there's many men who are successful on OnlyFans in terms of making money. Men are probably the main subscribers to women's channels and paying monthly fees or subscription costs to mostly women creators or women OnlyFans people, right? So, from a women's perspective, it seems like an easy alternative to make money. They can basically do what a lot of them are already doing in terms of just posting pictures of themselves on Instagram. There is a whole lot of women who post pictures on Instagram or other social media apps, but Instagram's a big one. You can go on there and see pretty much everything, right? I mean, very risque photos, lingerie, everything's hanging out on Instagram. Just totally normal. You don't have to pay for anything, right? It's just there. So that didn't used to be the case, right? I mean, women didn't have basically a medium to do that before, right? They couldn't get attention from the internet. So now I think it's mainly an attention thing. I think a lot of women will just put stuff on there even if they're not on OnlyFans. They'll put photos of themselves up there because they get attention and it makes them feel good, and they'll get a lot of potential men chasing after them, and so there's that as well. But the OnlyFans is kind of a step further in terms of now it becomes something that you're asking people to pay for. So I've never subscribed to any of that. I don't actually know if it's all sexual type content or if maybe it's just more photos that they don't put on their Instagram or different content. I don't know. But it's just surprising to me that there's so many, largely men that are paying money to subscribe to these people on a monthly basis. So some of it's probably, spicy type content in which it's basically, stuff that's like X-rated. It's going to be on the page. But the crazy thing there is that there's already that stuff online that's free. Maybe it's not of that particular person, but the amount of free content online there is so much of it, right? So you don't have to pay for that stuff if that's what you're looking for. But so many of these largely women are getting a ton of money. I mean, you look at some of these younger women are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Some of them are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on OnlyFans, right? So there's obviously a ton of guys who are paying for it, and I don't know. If you're watching this, why do you think men are paying for it? I can understand men wanting to look at it. I mean, men like to look at, they'll look at women. I mean, they'll go online and look at that stuff, but paying for it is a different thing, right? Especially when you're just paying to look at photos or look at some video or whatever it is, right? It doesn't seem to make sense to me, right? Because there's already a bunch of stuff out there that you don't have to pay for that is easily accessible, and you don't know this person anyway. I mean, most of these people, they don't actually know the person, right? So it's not like someone that you grew up with or that you knew. It's just if I live in Australia and someone lives in the United States, I don't actually know that person, right? And maybe I see them on their Instagram or whatever, but I don't know them. So paying for some additional content seems like that would be hard to get a lot of people to do that. But surprisingly, it's not. I mean, there like I said, there's people on there that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month who are in their young 20s, and it's surprising to me. I can see how you would get some people on the fringes who would subscribe to this stuff and pay $5 a month or $10 a month or whatever the rate is, so that they can support the person in some way, or just get access to whatever content they want. But for that many men to be subscribing to these people is just mind-blowing, right? I mean, again, it's one thing to look at something, it's another thing to start paying for it, right? In a world where people don't really want to be subscribing to all these recurring payments and money's already tight, it's surprising to me that a lot of these women can get so many followers on OnlyFans, right? And I get it if they have a bunch of Instagram followers, right? I mean, you go on Instagram, I'm telling you, seems like just about every girl on there that's in a bikini has like 50,000, 100,000 subscribers, right? But that's easy. It doesn't really cost, if you're a guy and you want to subscribe to someone because you like the way they look or whatever, it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to them, right? Now, they might make some amount of money on Instagram for having 100,000 followers. They get ads or whatever, but you're not directly paying them, right? Like you are on OnlyFans. So, to me, I think men, for whatever reason, probably when they're younger, they see someone, they really like the way they look or whatever, and they want to interact with them, and they want to show they care for them in some way, and so they start subscribing to this page. But doing that becomes like pointless when you realize that this person already has 30,000 people or 100,000 followers, right? That are actually paying. You're never going to differentiate yourself from everyone else who's paying, right? So thinking that subscribing to an OnlyFans person is somehow going to get you satisfaction or build some sort of relationship with that person, I think is way crazy. Like that's not going to occur. From the women's side of things, I totally get why they do it. I mean, you can make a lot of money if they're basically putting nude pictures or very close to nude pictures of themselves already on Instagram, and they're okay doing that. Then OnlyFans, I mean, again, I don't actually subscribe to it, so I don't know how much more it is, but a lot of these women who are just on Instagram are basically already putting very close to naked and very risque stuff just on Instagram that everyone can view. So the next logical step for them is to say, well, I can go to OnlyFans, I can start asking people to pay me $9 a month or whatever the thing is, and I don't have to do a normal job. I can be a content creator, I can make a lot of money, way more money than I can make just working a normal job. Plus, I don't have to work, I don't have to have a normal job, right? So I get why women do it. They're just taking advantage of the market. Men decide what type of market there is there, right? If men didn't want to pay for that, then the woman wouldn't do it, because the woman wouldn't get money for it, right? She would have to be putting pictures of herself or videos of herself online for free, which some of them already do that, but now there's no financial incentive to do it. So why would you want to put videos of yourself that are going to be online forever for no money, right? A lot of women wouldn't do that, but if there's money to be made, a lot of money, and I mean a lot of money, then they'll do it. So I don't know. It's more interesting. I'm not surprised that women do it because they see a market in which they can make money. So if you're okay with doing that type of thing in terms of basically kind of putting X-rated content out there for people to consume, the women will do it. Some of them will, but the man is the more surprising thing, right? Because you're not getting anything for it really that you couldn't get for free. You're paying for something that 30,000 other guys are paying for. So do you think you're going to have some relationship with this person, or do you think somehow they're going to talk to you, or you're kind of just wasting money, unless for whatever reason you really want to see, their some of their content for whatever reason. But again, I would think there'd be just kind of guys here and there that might pay for it, but not so many, and especially all for the same person. Like, some of these people make, literally, they said millions of dollars a year doing it just from the subscription base. So I don't know. Can you guys, I mean, if you're watching this, what is the reason men are paying for that? Are they really delusional enough to think that they're going to get something for it in terms of more than just a video or a picture? I mean, I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. But, guys, when they're young, they're pretty much, I don't know, when they see something they like, they'll pay for it or whatever, I guess, until they get a little bit older and they realize it's a waste of money. But anyways, let me know what you think on it. It's just crazy to see it on Instagram. I mean, really, you just go on there. I'm not even talking about OnlyFans, but just the amount of girls that have a ton of followers, and all they're doing is just posting pictures of their body, right? I don't really see anything else that they're doing other than just going to the beach maybe and like a photo in a bikini. They got 150,000 followers and they're 20. And then most of them, like, if you look, there's a link to all these other things which you can pay for, which is like, oh my God, who is paying for this stuff, right? Like, you got to wise up a little bit. If you keep paying for it, they're going to keep doing it. So anyways, let me know what you think. See you on the next one.